Hello and welcome to the Common Sense SEO show number 27. And today I have on my side, as you can see, Adrian. Say hello, Adrian.
Hey, Henrik. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. I just need to know from out there, can you see us and can you hear us? So maybe take a little while before we see those, but what I can say is today's topic is about Zapier. It is a continuation of our last show where we talked about Ifttt and how to create an Ifttt ring. And today we'll dig deeper into Zapier, which is a little bit more advanced, but also a little bit more expensive to use if you're using it a lot. But we'll dig into that. Strange, I can't see anybody giving any comments. I can see there's somebody out there. So if you could just put a yes, if you can hear us, and that'll be fine. If you can't see us, you can at least hear us. I can put up the comments at least, so whenever somebody is putting somebody into that chat and we have a secret listener who say it is working, so
maybe
great.
They're staying quiet. Shy.
Yeah. I was just need to change the setting here because it seems that the chat is disabled for some reason, so I'll go in and change that. I'm sorry about that. I can say today we are using a new system to produce the show, and we just need to get used to that. I'm sorry about that. Maybe give a few hiccups, but let's see if we can come around that.
It's a bit of an experiment today.
Yeah.
Platform. Yeah. Hopefully someone will put a comment in soon and whether or not we're being heard.
It seems that okay, there it comes. Okay. So Martin says yes. Okay.
Great. There is a word out there. Yeah. John says yes.
See who is here as well.
Oh, Patrick.
Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Howdy, hey.
So let's get rolling. Okay. What we're gonna do is we try to share a screen here and see if I can get this one rolling. Everybody can see my screen now, right? Yep. Okay. And you can still see my screen?
Yep. Screen's fine.
Okay. So today's topic is Zapier, which is an automatization tool like Ifttt, but more advanced. And it has over 1,500 different services that you can use. The disadvantage is that you can only, for the free version, have 5 SAPs, as they call it, and with 1 step in each SAPs. I'll show you that later. And you can max have 100 transactions. The Ifttt, as you saw last time, has a lot of free and no limit on the amount of, let's say, triggered events that you can have in Ifttt. So what does it do? Zapier, it lets your web apps hook up to Zapier, and we can integrate those into a workflow so that we can automate workflows. And we use what we call triggers and steps in that process. So what I'm going to do now, I'll go over to Zapier here. Sorry, that was not the one I wanted. I want to go here. So you can still see my screen?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. I've logged into my Zapier account, and I will have...
Sorry, Henrik, you're actually showing your PowerPoint still, the RF4 page of the PowerPoint.
Okay, stop sharing that. Go back. I will show my screen again here. As I say, we just have to get used to a little new Chrome tab here. Zapier. Oh, I need to show the full, otherwise I'll have to swap all the time. So now you can see my Zapier tab in the Chrome.
That's it.
As I said, I logged into Zapier now, and we have a dashboard. We have what we call My Zaps, a task history, and My Apps. And basically, what you do when you create a Zap is you either go into My Zaps here and create one, create a Zap, and over on this side, you will see there's a trigger automatically set up, and here you can see, let's say, a listing of all the different trigger apps that you can use. You have what we call apps in general, and then we have built-in apps. Built-in apps is more advanced, but if you can see, there's email, there's code we can schedule. We have an email parser, we have a push opportunity, we can use RSS, and we can use webhooks, but that's more advanced stuff, and we will dig into that at a later stage. So what I want to show to you today is a process where I'll set up a trigger, which will trigger whenever somebody is putting anything into a Google form that I'm having. So let me go and find that. Sorry, I'll have to go here. So I made an order form. So the basic thing what I want to show you is that if you're using, for example, a Google form as an order form, collect the responses in a sheet, then when the order has been submitted, I will take what comes into that sheet and I'll produce a workflow for that. So that I'll connect to a board and having that processing the different steps that I want to do in that respect to processing that order. Will that be okay for you guys over there? Out there? I'll have to say that Adrian is sitting in Spain at the moment. He's on the Canary Islands, and I'm sitting on top of my little mountaintop in Switzerland. And the broadcast is truly international today.
Definitely.
So let's go back to the share screen here. And go back to my Zapier test. So let's take a quick look at the form. I have just made a form where I want the name, the company, where they can choose a package and use a Google Maps URL. The responses will go into a sheet. That sheet will look like this, where I have a timestamp for whenever the user had put anything into it. I will have the name, the company. I'll have the chosen package. I will request them to put in Maps URL here, and I will automatically create an order number based on the timestamp over here. Then I want to go into my Trello account. everybody is or know what Trello is?
Yep.
Hopefully. Okay. So I go into a board here. No, that's not the one I want to go into. I'll go back here. I'll create a new one. I'll go Zapier test. Create that board. Here I will create a list just called orders. I'll create a new list called in process. And I will create a list called done, whatever. So the basic idea is that whenever somebody has put in an order form, there will be created a card here. When the card is created, I can have a VA going in here, drag the card over to the process. And when the VA has finalized the order, he or she will drag it over to done. And when done is made, I will have a trigger again that say, okay, I'll get an email with the attachment of the order fulfilled or whatever the documentation would be. So that's the steps I want to do in my SAP. So I'll go back here. I'll have the trigger, and my trigger will be a Google Sheet. And here it says, should it be a new sheet row or should it be a new or updated sheet row? I'll choose the first one, which is a new sheet row. And then it asks me to find a spreadsheet. First, I'll test my connection. So I'll click here on test, come back and confirm that there's a connection to my G drive. I'll save that and continue. And the first, it said, okay, give me a spreadsheet where this information is stored in. And this one is called the Zapier test. So I'll find the Zapier test, click on the drop down. What did I call it? Zapier? That's responses, yes. Maybe I call it the Zapier demo. I don't know. Let's see. So the next thing it wants is a sheet name, and I'm knocking on the door here, and it says there's only one sheet, which is sheet number 1. So it just grabbed the field from the sheet. I'll click continue. So actually say it, okay, pick a sample. So I will wait for the sample to come up here. We'll just take hopefully. I took the wrong one. I should have taken the. I want to change the G sheet, so I'll go back to edit my options here because I took a wrong one. So it should be Zapier demo test. Hopefully I did it on the. Oh shit! I did it on the wrong account. So Yeah, wait for 1 second. I just need to.
Henrik, for the benefit of the audience, can you, while that's happening, can you maybe elaborate on why you would choose Zapier over Ifttt?
The only reason why I'll choose Zapier over Ifttt is that you can bring in logic into the equation.
Yeah.
So you will have much more information that you can stuff into that.
I suppose it's maybe it allows a little bit more flexibility than Ifttt does in terms of the logic.
What you can do is, oh shit, I'm really bumming this one up. What you can do, you can in one SAP you can take a lot of paths, is what they're calling it, and those paths will enable you to do various things. So if you have one trigger, for instance, the new spreadsheet row, then depending on what you put into those different rows could trigger a different action. And you can do that in that path. But that's more advanced, and we'll come back to that stuff in a later course. But what I'll have to do here is simply to go back and see if I can somehow connect my... I can't do that. I can't do that.
This is the joys of live TV, folks.
Yeah. Can't do that. What I'll do a very, very quick new format. I think that'll be easier. There. Just have to make sure I'm on the right account. Yeah. Sorry about small blubber here, but then I can see how to make a Google form at least.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, we didn't plan that. It cost extra.
No, that's it.
But I'll make a simple one. Is just say I want a name, and then I go back here. I will see my responses up here. Create a new sheet here. Blub.
I suppose as a side point, just to, but one thing that a lot of people aren't aware of is there's a lot of value. You know, most websites, you're going to have a contact form or a form of some sort. You know, collecting data or allowing contact information to be completed. But what a lot of people defer to is contact form 7, you know, the WordPress form. But there's a lot of SEO value to be gained by using a Google form embedded on the website.
Exactly.
So a little bonus point for today.
We can give another little bonus here. Maybe I'll just go in here. This one, let's go into that one. We're just sidetracking a little. What I'm getting here is I'm going into my King Sumo form. I'm using this King Sumo form. I put in a webhook here, and that create a spreadsheet row in here. So whenever I get any new sign-ups through my King Sumo form, I put in here. Then you can say, okay, immediately after that sign up has been made and added to the spreadsheet row, you could have a step here where it says send an email through your Gmail account to that particular subscriber and welcome him. And then you can add another branch where you wait, let's say 24 hours, and then you send him another mail in a sequence. So by this, you can actually create your own autoresponder in Zapier.
Yep.
Let me go back, make the new Zap. Now I put up the form. So what did I say? I want the G sheet. I want when a new row was created. I go here. I'll test that it works. It was success. I'll continue. I'll choose my sheet name. And that was the one called, oh Jesus, I have the other form now. Orders. I'll choose worksheet, which was number 1. A responses one here. I'll continue. It is loading. While it's loading, maybe we can check if there's any questions on there. Brian, I'll come back to your little question about that in a while. So now it's trying to connect to this sheet. If it doesn't, then we can skip the step. I'll pull in samples. And because I didn't put any orders in, presumably it didn't work. Henrik Hansen, I want a basic boost packet. Thank you. Submit. Dumps. That will be available here, hopefully, in a second. I have to confess, I'm on a mobile phone for the.
For your connection, it's probably bandwidth, maybe slowing things down.
But it should work. It's a little bit slow. But what it should do is to produce a timestamp here and a name, and
there we have it.
A package. So whilst that is working, we'll go back and we'll continue with the next process. So first we said this was the trigger that we created. In the trigger, we will have the order, we will have the name and what has been ordered. So the next step will be to add a step. And here you can see at the lower part of the screen, we have the inner, let's say the more advanced stuff. And here is the action search that we can do. And that's the one that we are choosing here. And I want a Trello to be created. And what do I want? I want to create a card. And that card will be created in a board that I'm choosing now. First, I'll test the connection. It works. I'll go to the next step. I'll choose the board. And the board was, what did I call it? Zapier test. Should be down here. This one. I will have to choose a list in where the card is being created. So I'll choose the one called orders. A name. What else is variable? Name. Just call it Henrik Hansen in this instance. I don't fill in the description or labels on this. I can put the card's position at the top because I want to see if it's more the newest one at the top of my list. And that's this list over here that I'm talking about. Going back, I'll continue. It asked me to send a test to Trello. I'll do that. And I can click finish. And all the sets. So I'll just say orders to Trello as a name for my SAP for boost packages. And I'll turn my SAP on. So if I embed that Google form, order form in my site and somebody signs up, it will start the process. So the order detail will be stored in the Google Sheet. When a new row is inputted to the sheet, it will trigger that the cards will be created in Trello. I should have called it orders over here, but actually what I would have had here if I had named it properly, called it orders instead of Henrik Hansen, it will show me the order number that was created over in this sheet. That's the wrong sheet, isn't it? Let me take a look at that. No, it didn't create any responses still. But the next step will be, okay, when I have an VA processing the orders, it will go to this one. And when she or he has finalized it, it will go to this one. Yeah. So I could create a new SAP where I'm using Trello as the trigger. And that Trello trigger will be that whenever somebody is moving a card into this list called done, it will trigger an email. It will send an email and will copy whatever I have here in the description and any attachment to it. So I'll get an email notifying me that an order has been completed. Does that make sense to everybody out there? Let me take a look here.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. It's a really flexible tool.
It
know,
is definitely. It is
yeah,
definitely.
and it's the big benefit is that it makes automating repetitive tasks, very straightforward and quite cheap as well.
Yep. Let me just create another SAP, doing something total different. A lot of you guys are in the RFR group and using the RFR tool and having a lot of files created within your G drive. So what I want to do now is to take SAP, create a SAP. So whenever a new file is dumped into either a folder or at the root or in the subfolder, you can decide what you want to do. I will take some information and put into Google Sheets, and that sheet will pick up the title of or the file name of the file created. It will take the URLs, different URLs, which I can use for various purpose in my RFR activity. So let's dive into that. So I'll choose the Google Drive as the trigger. So you can see here, I can have a new file in a specific folder, or I can choose a file in any folder. So if I choose the latter one, I will have, if any file is dropped into my root or any subfolders, it will trigger an entry into a sheet. So the first step was to connect to the Google Drive, which I've done. Let's click Save and Continue. If I am leaving this blank, it will take the root, but I could also have chosen a specific folder if I want. I'll just keep this. So I'll say Continue. I will just continue. I don't want any test for the time being. And the next thing it says to me, okay, you have created the trigger, add a step to it. So I'll add a step. I'll choose the action, search for actions. I'll choose a Google Sheet. And I'll say, okay, whenever there's been created a row in a specific sheet, I'll save and continue. I'll test that it's working. Continue. And now the fun begins, because I want to find a sheet in my Google Drive. The spreadsheet name will be Zapier test, I think it is called. Yeah. Or was it Zapier demo? Now I have to make sure that I'm choosing the right one. This is the right one. It's called Zapier demo. Okay. The worksheet name will be sheet number 1, because I didn't name it. Silly me. Mm-hmm. It says that somewhere it has a problem updating the notes, which means that it can't find what it wants in the Zapier demo. So I'll have to go back here, click on Edit Templates, go back here, to the sheets. I'll just test it again. Maybe it's my connection. Oh, it was a success.
Yep.
Google Drive, Zapier demo, sheet number 1, it worked. Okay. So we want to send a test to Google Sheets. We can do that. And it created an error again because of create a new row. We tested that should be okay. We took the Google Drive. We have the Zapier demo. That's the one I wanted. We did choose sheet number 1. Okay, there came. So what do I want to insert? I want a file name because that's what the sheet contains. It's called file URL, HTML URL, PDF file, and an embed link. That's what I want to grab from each new file added to the Google Drive. So I'll go in here. I'll choose the title. What the heck? I want the file name. So I'll scroll down here. Sorry, I want the file URL. I can choose the one called self URL down here. The self link here. I can choose an HTML file. Or HTML URL. HTML URL. It comes down here. And then I can use the PDF file URL, which I'll be able to grab here. This one. And I want the embed URL. It's a little difficult for you to see out there, guys, so I'm just...
No, it's fine. It's a good walkthrough how to do it, how to create it.
Yeah. But down here, I will have one called embeds URL, which I can't see now. Why can't I see that now? Exports. But as you can see, there's a lot of things you can grab about an information of a file. And there it is, the embed URL. And that was what I wanted. I click continue. And bingo, I can send a test to the Google Sheets. And it was successful, so I can finish that. And if I go into my sheet, you can see Here is the file URL in itself. Here, it didn't produce an HTML file URL, but here's a file to a PDF version of it, and here's the embed link. And that should get the people from RFR their heads spinning, because there'll be a lot of opportunities to do something really serious about using Zapier for that purpose.
It it gives you, it should get your brain buzzing in terms of how can you creatively reuse the data that you generated in your RFR tool. Where can you put it? How can you manipulate it?
Yeah, but if you have this sheet as an overview sheet where you collect all the various links, and based on the title, you know exactly what kind of campaign it's located to, or you could have the description as a field in it. The description is normally where you put in your metadata in the RFR for the files. That should give you an idea what campaign this belongs to, and then you can manipulate that to whatever you want in principle. But there's chances of opportunity you can use here. I've just opened the box a little bit of how you can do it.
Yeah, at a real base level, I know that there's a question that's come up a number of times, and Patrick's probably sitting here thinking about it too, that a lot of people ask how they track their campaigns, for reporting to clients, or just keeping track of what they've done in campaigns. And this is at a very early, at a base use. This is perfect for creating a tracker sheet for your campaigns.
Yeah, that's just one opportunity, but I have done some nasty stuff, sending out a lot of URLs to a service which is in Zapier, which has a DA of 95. So think about that.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, any questions out there? Martin, hast du etwas zu fragen? If you're still on. Martin Kindle is from Austria, just nearby here, around the corner.
Over the mountain from you.
Yeah, a few mountains actually. So there was a question from Brian Kerr. Does the sheet need to be published in order for the SAP to work with them? No. They can work as private because you connect your Gmail account using, and similar to the process that you're going through when you're using RFR or GMB Maker Poster, that you authorize the software to access your different details in the G drive. So it doesn't need that. So you can have a private sheet that does a lot of things, and you can have public sheets if you like that does other things. So there's a lot of, let's say, different possibilities, opportunities. So anybody else have questions out there, or did you fall asleep and drop away?
Jan's just made a comment about pretty links.
I haven't checked that actually, but we can do that. So if we go out here,
I think they can. I think that's possible. It depends what you're linking to, but yes, they could be used as a trigger.
Nope. You have to do something different, but that's another thing we'll go into in a more advanced course here. So Keith is asking, how much does Zapier cost to run? There's a free version which costs you nothing, but you have only 5 SAPs. But the SAPs in itself can only have 2 steps. So if you want to create a workflow with more steps in it, you have to upgrade to another version, which costs $25 if you pay monthly. And that allows you to have 100 SAPs, and it allows you to have 1,000 transactions, as I call it. 1,000 transactions actually means that the trigger can trigger 1,000 times before you have to either upgrade to something on a higher level. So I think you can get quite a long way with a $25 to play around with. And
have a lot of
I don't want to know whether you agree, Adrian, but if you have somebody who can do a lot of work for you, where you don't have to look at it because it will be automated all the way down, then a $25 cost to your business is nothing, because you could use that time, which you normally would have to do it yourself, to other more valuable things, i.e. to work on your business, not in your business.
That's right. Yeah. Especially if you have whether you're working on transactional type operations, or you have a VA or a personal member staff doing it, it's certainly worth spending $25 a month to take that off them and have them do something that more creative or more high value.
And Reggie is asking us, what are some of you're using SAPs to attain rankings or even indexation? Well, again, if you're using some of the properties here, which, to be honest, you could, I think that some of you are using Twitter to actually create the trigger for indexation. So whenever you create a tweet and have a link back to that particularly property that you want to index, then you will actually create a trigger for indexation, because Google is looking at whatever comes out of Twitter. So that could be an idea. There's several other things you can do in here to actually trigger an indexation or help you to rank, but that's more advanced stuff. We'll come back to that in a later session or training.
Think syndication. Content syndication is a big use.
Syndication.
Yeah.
So we have gone now for 3/4 of an hour. Any more questions before we will call it a day here for this new system that we are testing out?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah, see what we can do now, man. Adrian is solo.
Yeah, I actually like this. The studio that's it's much more flexible than what you had been using before with YouTube.
Yeah, but YouTube is actually closing down Hangouts on the 1st of August, so we had to look at something different, and this tool is actually called StreamYard, and I like it so far.
Yeah, I like it. It's nice.
So more questions out there before we'll call it a day? Doesn't seem so. So Adrian, thank you for stepping in.
Thank you very much, Henrik. Pleasure as always.
Unfortunately had a cold and a headache, so he couldn't attend. So Adrian kindly stepped in. So we're happy he did that, and thank you very much for doing that, Adrian.
My pleasure. Pleasure to be here.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, because you never know, maybe something of interest could pop up, which we haven't announced in the public. So subscribe to our channel. If you like the show, click the like button down there. If you have any questions later, just pop them into the comment section and we will try to answer them as fast as possible. So thank you very much, guys out there. Have a nice day, night, morning.
Thanks, Henrik. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Ciao.